Howdy, I am Moonpie Futrell, a close buddy of Professor Futrell, who wrote your textbook. I am here to welcome you to your personal selling course. This brief introduction to creating and to delivering a sales presentation provides the big picture to the selling process and to developing your sales presentation. Your instructor and Dr. Futrell's sales book will provide the specifics to selling. Look at the chapter in Professor Futrell's sales book entitled, Carefully Select Which Sales Presentation Method to Use, and its exhibit entitled, The Parallel Dimensions of Selling. This exhibit shows his sales process. After learning this process, by the end of the course and role-playing it, you will be a better communicator and a more successful salesperson. There is no abstract theory, just practical advice taken from real-world experience. Thousands of college students, industry salespeople, sales managers, and sales trainers from all over the world have used the materials in Professor Futrell's 2 personal selling books to train their people. The books have been translated into many different languages. Several organizations use the book to certify salespeople for different organizations and industries, both in America and internationally. After developing your sales presentation using the material described here and in depth in the textbook, doing extensive practicing of your role play, and with actual sales experience, you will see that all elements and parts of Dr. Futrell's sales presentation process are related and intercorrelated between the steps in the selling process. And proven by research, this sales philosophy, process, presentation, and technique will result in a great experience for both you and your customer. Here is a specific, yet generic, step-by-step selling process that is universal in nature, resulting in your knowing the basics of creating and making a sales presentation that will result in improved sales and customer relationships. Let us begin. First, let's briefly look at the Parallel Dimensions of Selling exhibit. Look now. The far left column shows the order that your discussion should take within the presentation. Discuss the product, then the marketing plan, the business proposition, and then close. The second column from the left shows the same discussion sequence with examples of each part, followed with a trial close for each major benefit. The marketing plan is next in your presentation. There are 2 types of marketing plans. For the reseller, discuss your plan for helping the buyer resell to his customers. For the end user, explain how the product will fit into their present operation. Again, use sell sequences. Now discuss your business proposition incorporating the sell sequences. Present what you suggest should be purchased by the customer or prospect, followed by 1 or more trial closes. Now, close, asking for the order using one of the closing techniques in your textbook. Look and listen to the buyer's response to your trial close question. Note the letters in red. They are important. Learn their definitions and meanings. The third column shows the 10-step selling process beginning with the prospect or customer you plan to contact in your business meeting and ending with service and follow-up of that customer. The last column illustrates the buyer's mental steps as the salesperson moves down the steps of the presentation, which begins with the approach and ends with the close. Thus, there are parallel dimensions occurring at the same time between the selling process and the buyer's mental stages. By using questions, trial closes, and nonverbal communication skills, you will learn how to present your product while better understanding what is going on in the customer's mind. The sales philosophy, process, presentation, and techniques. Now, let's take a closer look at the 10-step selling process. Once you have determined your contact, whether a prospect, customer, or past customer, make an appointment and then plan your business meeting strategy and tactics in the pre-approach or planning step of the 10-step selling process. Determine your sales call objectives and review or develop a customer profile with information about the prospect or customer and the organization. Next, create the main features, advantages, and benefits you want to discuss concerning each product you will present. Now you are ready to develop and polish your sales presentation, as discussed later. Practice it until it sounds natural, as if talking to a friend. Think about how you will groom and dress to project a professional appearance. Remember to think through the positive creative imagery that you will use as you wait in the person's office before the meeting. You envision everything that will occur during your business meeting that will end in a sale and a new business friendship. Review your customer relationship management, CRM, data information in the pre-approach and before entering the person's office. Be sure to know such things as past purchases, everyone's name, hobbies, family, what you talked about at the previous meeting, personality types, likes, and dislikes in interacting with salespeople. While waiting to see the buyer, meet and talk with everyone possible, especially the buyer's secretary. Learn about things such as family, hobbies, and pets. These people can help get you in to see the buyer and provide valuable information on what is going on in the company that might impact you. Input this information into your CRM data set. 4. Your sales presentation. Create a presentation that adapts to the buyer's personality style. Choose your presentation method, and then select your approach technique. This is based on your product and knowledge of the person in the organization. Practice more than one approach if you are unsure of the situation you will face. Be prepared to improvise, adapt, and overcome any obstacles in your way. The approach. Listen now. Are you listening? The approach begins when you first see the prospect or customer and ends when you begin discussing your product. In the approach, you meet, greet, build rapport, and use one of the approach techniques to capture the person's attention and interest, and to provide a transition into the sales presentation. My buddy, Professor Futrell, always introduces me as Moonpie. He's a good fellow and handsome too. Provide and ask for a business card if needed. Be sure to have a firm handshake. Look at the person in the eyes and smile, projecting positive green signals. You are excited to meet with the person. You only have one chance to make a great first impression. Slow up. Do not rush to sit down and begin your presentation. If the buyer does not offer you a seat, ask, "May I sit here?" If possible, sit in the buyer's personal space beside the desk. Here, you can observe angles of the body, face, arms, hands, and legs. You can easily watch for green, yellow, and red nonverbal communication signals. Be aware that the approach is an extremely important part of your presentation. Some say that it is the most important of the 10 steps in the selling process. It should be connected to the main benefits you will discuss in the presentation. Ask if you can take notes. Because your approach and presentation will require asking questions, casually ask if you may ask a few questions from time to time. Take out your notepad. If small enough, place your product on the buyer's desk during the approach or when you start discussing the product. If selling large equipment, you might show a picture or video from your computer. After the approach, you move into the core of your presentation. Pace your talking pattern based upon such things as the buyer's energy level, speed of talk, breathing pattern, personality type, and time available. Mention the person's name several times during the presentation after discussing an important benefit. Throughout, watch the buyer's nonverbal signals. No matter what happens while you are in the buyer's office, always project green signals. Eliminate all of your tics, such as saying or 3 presentation parts. There are 3 parts of the presentation that should be discussed in the correct order. First, present the product. Second, the marketing plan. And third, the business proposition. There are 2 types of marketing plans. For the reseller, you will discuss how they will sell the product after purchase. Examples of a reseller would be a retailer, distributor, or wholesaler. For an end user, such as a manufacturing plant or retailer, you will explain how the product will fit into their present operation. Topics include delivery, guarantee, installation, maintenance, and training. For all 3 parts of the presentation, use sell sequences. Show your feature, explain its advantage, lead into the benefit, and then allow the person to give feedback on what you have said by asking a trial close question. The trial close is one of your best communication tools. It asks for an opinion, not a decision. "How does that sound?" is a trial close that might be used somewhere in the presentation. The use of sell sequences allows you to focus on the product's benefits rather than on its features and advantages. Yes, you do need to discuss features and advantages, but you want to emphasize benefits. A positive response to your trial close tells you the benefit is important to the person. You use this information later in your close. For example, you might say, "Earlier you said that you like our profit margin, fast delivery, and credit policy. Is that correct?" A positive response verifies the buyer's feelings to your product and may prompt you to close. Should the buyer give a positive response such as, "That sounds great," or "That's what I've been looking for in a product," you may not need to ask a trial close. It is your decision. You know what the person thinks about what you have said concerning your product fulfilling the need or solving the problem. If the person gives green signals, such as a smile or nodding the head after you have said something, you cannot always take that as a positive response. Many buyers are taught to make positive comments or use positive gestures during a sales presentation. Again, it is your judgment, but generally, you should go ahead and ask your trial close. Within the presentation, use one or more of the following 6 sales presentation mix elements. 1. Participation. 2. Proof statement. 3. Visual aid. 4. Dramatization. 5. Demonstration. And 6. Persuasive communication. These 6 mix elements are not mutually exclusive. For example, a demonstration can also involve participation, proof, and dramatization. Inserting a simile, metaphor, analogy, parable, or story at the appropriate place can aid you in painting an enticing picture of how your product will fulfill the needs of the buyer. Top salespeople are great storytellers. This will improve your communication with the buyer and your chances of making the sale. Hence, you should always show and tell throughout the presentation. Price. Questions about price should be postponed to the business proposition discussion if you feel that it's appropriate. You want to have discussed thoroughly your product and marketing plan so the person knows the value of your business proposition and your suggested order. If asked about price early in the presentation, you might say something like, "We will get to price in just a minute, all right?" Or, "Price will be determined based on the quantity you purchase. Let's discuss that in a minute, all right?" This is a judgment situation. Only you will know when to discuss price. If the person persists in wanting to discuss price during the presentation, then you should talk about the product's price. To help make the decision, you should judge if the person has gone from sending out green signals to sending yellow or red. If the nonverbal signals are yellow or red, you should discuss price. One possibility for the person's action is that the individual has a censor-type personality and doesn't want to hear the background and just wants to get to the bottom line. After the sale, if needed, review your notes with the person to make sure you remember accurately what to do in the follow-up or service areas. Since some salespeople who continue to visit after the close experience a change of mind by the buyer, leave as soon as possible. Welcome objections. After discussing the suggested order, you ask a trial close. With a positive response, you close. Should an objection arise, you move to determine the type of objection. Objections, resistance, or questions can occur anywhere in the presentation. Answer them as they arise, except when they pertain to price, as discussed later. Welcome an objection, resistance, or question. This helps you know what the person is thinking about relative to you, your talk, and your product. Think of it as a challenge. See if you can place the objection quickly into one of the 6 major categories of objections. Select a technique for meeting the objection. Use the technique to move to the appropriate information for responding to the objection or request for more information on the product, marketing plan, or business proposition. This takes both time and experience in selling to do smoothly. AIDCA. Look at the far right column entitled Buyer's Mental Steps. The approach gets the buyer's attention and interest. The presentation continues to hold interest and convinces the buyer this product will take care of their need or solve their problem. Their desire to buy begins to rise. When the seller feels the person has entered the conviction stage of the buyer's mental state, it is time for action. If you are listening, say, "Howdy!" Remember, I am from Texas, USA. Closing is the process of helping people to make a decision that will benefit them. You aid people with their decision to help themselves by asking them to buy. Should the person not buy, do not take it personally. Try to discover why before leaving. This helps you prepare for your return visit. However, chances are the reason for not buying will come out in your presentation. Act as a professional. Leave the door open for a return visit. You might conclude by saying, "Mr. Smith, would you do one thing for your company? Would you please think about what we discussed? Please look over this material and the price sheet. I know, product name, is needed by your organization. Please call me if you have any questions. Would it be all right, Mr. Smith, if I come by in a month or so to see what you think about product name?" Stand, smile, and compose yourself. While looking the buyer in the eye and giving a firm handshake, say something like, "Thank you very much, Mr. Smith. I really enjoyed visiting with you. I look forward to seeing you next month." Do not leave the room as if it is on fire. Leave slowly, professionally, with a smile on your face, a song in your heart, and a spring in your step. Be friendly with everyone you pass as you go to your vehicle. Call them by name, if known. Follow-up and service are extremely important to your success in keeping the person as a customer and in gaining referrals. Review your notes once out of the buyer's office. Input information and data on the business meeting into your CRM dataset as soon as possible. This enables you to do a great job in preparing for the next business meeting with this person. See if the reason for the purchase or rejection is similar to other business meetings. This can help you improve your next sales presentation. Remember that the person may be ready to buy at any time, such as when you walk into the office, early in the presentation, or sometime in the future. Occasionally, you will not be required to go through your entire presentation. The customer may be ready to buy when you walk into the office, especially if you have had a long-term relationship with this customer who trusts you. However, most of the time, you will go through the entire planned presentation and close using one or more of your textbook's closing methods. Here are examples of 3 common scenarios faced by a salesperson. Scenario 1. In the first scenario, assume you feel it is time to close the sale after discussing the product, marketing plan, and business proposition within the presentation. Ask a final trial close to verify that the person has no objection nor needs more information to make a buying decision. Use the person's name in the verification question. "Mr. Jones, you said you like our profit margin, fast delivery, promotional plan, and pricing. Is that correct?" "Yes, it is," says the buyer. Since you received a positive response, move toward your close by presenting a suggested purchase order incorporating a closing technique. "Based upon what we discussed, Mr. Jones, I recommend you purchase 100 of the X15 and 350 of the X20. I can have both shipped to you this week, or would you prefer next week?" It is important that you close. Both research and industry sales personnel say that if you are an expert on your product, show and tell while emphasizing benefits, and then close, sales will increase relative to others who use some or none of these important methods to fulfill the needs of the customer. Ask for the order and be quiet. This separates the top performers from the less successful salespeople. You now plan our follow-up and service to this prospect or customer. You are now ready to go and see your next prospect or customer. Scenario 2. For Scenario 2, say that after the presentation and the trial close, the person gives an objection. First, determine the objection. Use one of the objection handling techniques to transition back into the product, marketing plan, business proposition, or suggested order presentation materials. Address the person's objection. Now, ask a trial close to determine if you have handled the objection. If you receive a positive response and no other objection or request for more information occurs, Close again, using a different closing technique. If an objection, resistance, or request for more information occurs, cycle back through the above sequence. This is the reason you need to be prepared to use several objection handling techniques and to close multiple times using different closing techniques. Properly executed, it will seem natural and professional. You are there solely to help the person and organization fulfill their need or to fix their problem. Again, you plan your follow-up and service to the prospect or customer. Off you go to see your next prospect or customer. Scenario 3. In Scenario 3, you go through your presentation. Everything seems great. You verify with your trial close before asking for the order. You receive a positive response, so you close. During the close, an objection occurs, causing you to determine the objection. Meet it by going back to the product, marketing plan, or business proposition in the presentation using that information to meet the objection. You ask a trial close to determine if the objection has been met. If so, close again. There are other scenarios, but this gives you ideas on situations faced by salespeople. Plan your follow-up in service to this prospect or customer. Now head out to see your next prospect or customer. Let's review. Let's conclude with a quick summary. First, in your selling process, you select your prospect, present, or past customer. Next, you plan the entire business meeting, beginning with your approach. After your approach, you discuss your product's features, advantages, and benefits, with each benefit followed by a trial close. The sell sequence will help you learn to focus on stressing benefits and asking a trial close for feedback on what you have just said to the person. Now you talk about your marketing plan, again using your sell sequence. This is followed by your explanation of the business proposition, including such things as suggested order, list price, shipping cost, discounts, financing, return on investment, and value analysis. The sell sequence is also used in the business proposition. With a positive response to your trial close after the business proposition, you will close with a suggested purchase containing such things as the product to buy, quantity, suggested delivery date. If the person buys, you complete the sale and move on to your next customer. If the customer asks a question or gives an objection about the product, marketing plan, or business proposition, you move back up into the presentation and discuss information related to the objection or question. You ask a trial close to see if you have satisfied the customer. Again, with a positive answer to your trial close, you again close using a different closing communication technique. More questions or objections can arise at any point in the presentation. You continue to respond using your sell sequences. As you see, questions and trial closes are two of the best selling techniques to use in your sales presentation. Trial closes check the pulse or attitude of your prospect toward the sales presentation. Questions help you discover the person's hot button. What is important for the purchase? When do you use a trial close? This is important. Listen now. The trial close should be used at these 4 important times. 1. After making a strong selling point in the presentation. 2. After the presentation. 3. After answering an objection. And 4. Immediately before you move to close the sale. You can use other questions anywhere in the presentation. Why are you trained to use communication and selling techniques for areas of the presentation, such as the approach, sell sequences, responding to an objection, or asking the person to buy? These techniques allow you to be seen as a professional who sincerely wants to help others. It helps you become a better communicator. You create a business friendship. You look forward to the sales call. Your customers will be happy to see you, and sales will increase. These techniques are thoroughly discussed in Dr. Futrell's personal selling textbook. Practice these techniques in your personal life. They will prove to enhance your communication skills. They work. Both new and experienced salespeople go through a learning process consisting of 3 phases of usage before true behavioral changes occur as a result of sales training. Many salespeople feel awkward at first. The second phase of training usage is where the salesperson consciously uses the training more and more, slowly becoming better at its application on the job. The third phase of training usage is it becomes natural part of the day-to-day job. Habits are difficult to change. It takes regular, on-the-job reinforcement to change a salesperson's habits. As the new training begins to produce more sales, people master the sales techniques, and it becomes natural to use. This may relate to what you are experiencing in your sales class. It is very common. That's true. My buddy, Professor Futrell, trained me. I was very stubborn, but those treats and practice got me to try what he wants of me. I have not mastered the skateboard yet. Scary. Hey, will you please listen carefully as I close? The common denominator of success. Let's conclude by discussing the common denominator of success among professional salespeople. Following Professor Futrell's process will increase anyone's sales. However, to maximize sales and to stay in the sales profession over time, you must build true long-term relationships. To build long-term relationships, you must be a person of integrity, trust, and character based upon the truth. This requires you to treat others unselfishly, just as you would like to be treated. Fulfilling others' needs, or solving their problem, is the purpose of your sales career. The common denominator of a successful salesperson, as opposed to those less successful, is unselfishly and sacrificially caring for prospects, customers, and others by placing their interest before your desires. The end result of dedicating your life to helping others will be the true caring for customers, joy in knowing you are helping others, harmony or peace in the relationship, patience in serving, kindness, moral ethics, faithfulness to your word, fairness and self-control in not being high pressure in persuading the person to buy. Helping others gives your life purpose. Yes, many salespeople sell solely to make a sale for the commissions, promotions, pride, ego, etc. They want to sell at any cost. This type of salesperson focuses solely on self, acting as a wolf in sheep's clothing. It is important to do your best, but not at all costs. An effective, successful salesperson is a good shepherd of customers rather than a wolf. The principles taught in your book will work only when they come from the heart. I am not advocating a bag of tricks. I am talking about a way of life in the workplace, in the marketplace, and in your personal life. You need a higher power. That is hard, you say. Yes, it is. A sales career is challenging. To do well in life and in industry, many of us rely on a power greater than ourselves to get us up in the morning, work throughout the day, and at night, prepare for the next day's work. I speak to you of God, your own conception of God. Professor Futrell's God is the living God, Jesus Christ. He tells us to work hard, do our best, and He will help us. Many of us admit that we are powerless over making our lives focus solely on one thing, ourselves. We have to have a greater power that will allow us to compete in the world's rat race without becoming a rat. We work for our God and our company. Integrity, trust, character, truth, and spiritual leadership are needed to take us to a higher standard in sales and in life, and to becoming and staying a golden rule salesperson. Our faith in God is one of the reasons we work hard and every day strive to be a better person. This helps us treat customers, bosses, co-workers, and others as we would like to be treated as a person. We seek to treat others so they have a way of life that benefits the common good and promotes human dignity. The complete process for sales success. Well, that is all there is to giving a professional sales presentation. What do you think? Master this sales attitude and process, and you will know more than 99.9% of the millions of salespeople around the world. Properly executing the selling process is important to one's success, but it is not the complete sales process. I am talking about a higher standard of success in sales than merely reaching quota or winning a sales contest. How you sell is the ultimate test of your becoming a golden rule salesperson. It is not whether you make the sale, but rather how you treat the customer. Truthfully, doing your best is the ultimate measure of success. As long as you are truly striving to help the customer, and as long as you do the best of which you are capable, there is no failure. If you do not make the sale because there is not a need for your product at this time, that sales call is not a failure. If you are prepared for the business meeting, and you make every effort to execute the sales presentation truthfully and to the best of your ability, and have done the things necessary to bring about the sale, but do not make the sale, you have not failed. You have been successful because you acted professionally, were well prepared, made a great impression, left excellent product information to consider, left the door open to return, and showed you cared about the person's situation. You will come back another day.